Hi, I'm Nancy Kraft. We're recording here in Lawson Hill at a safe distance in my house. I'm going to talk about Boro. Boro is the Japanese word for creative mending. It's based on the principle of motai nai, no waste. It's an age-old kind of way to reuse, repurpose, and recycle old clothing using scraps of fabric. So this is what I've been working on. This shirt was one of my favorite shirts, but it was falling apart. So I decided, okay, let's do some bordeaux on this. So I'm just going to show you what I've done. Bordeaux is reinforcing the fabric with creative mending. So it can either be on the outside, in this case, or, and actually I've done both, outside and inside, to really reinforce this because it was falling apart. Now, one thing to think about, can you see?
Is this one of the things that you did?
Yes,
Okay.
this was a shirt. It had these pockets. It had a few of these patches on it, but it was falling apart because the maker used this kind of linen that's really weak, so it keeps getting holes in it. So you can see that I've already reinforced this bottom part by sewing on the inside, and it shows a little on the outside. But one thing is, this is a really fun kind of project you can do at home using everything you have in the home, in your house. You need a needle, some thread, a pair of scissors, and any kind of fabric that you can find. It might be a piece of clothing that is really far gone and you're just going to cut up. In this case, this is really funny. I'm using this fabric here to reinforce this area. These are our old sheets that we've had forever. They sort of got frayed and started falling apart, but I love the pattern. So I cut it up and I'm using it. I happen to have a lot of Japanese fabrics because I travel there. And so I'm just kind of sourcing them from around my house. In this case, these projects are mostly, I want to use blue fabric, but you're not limited to that. That's just what I happen to be doing right now. This is a pair of jeans that's a completed project. I bought these jeans from Anthropology. A few other people in town have these jeans. They're cute. They came sort of pre-patched, and distressed. So I kind of like the idea, but not so much. So what I did is I then started working on it. I added this, and you can see I've used a simple running stitch, and which is normally what's used. But a lot of people might know embroidery stitches or be interested in learning embroidery stitches. There are a lot of resources on the internet, books. There's a book in the library you could put on hold. So that's what I've done. I've just started working on this and made this more fun.
Those are so cute, Nancy.
They're very cute. Yeah, I might add more. Who knows? A lot of these things are ongoing projects. So another thing that I thought of working on during this time at home is, this is an old t-shirt, seen better days, but why not just see what I can do to jazz it up. And I'm just playing with some ideas here of, taking some fabrics, and I'm going to maybe adding a pocket. Who knows? Maybe later on I'll report back and see what I've done. But anyway, very simple materials, a needle, and it's important to match the thread to the type of fabric. In other words, you can use really thick fabric if you want to, but if you're using to patch onto, but if you want to make sure you're not poking holes. So it's always good to maybe use a sharp needle with a fairly big eye, so it's not too hard to thread.
Is that a special kind of thread?
This happens to be Japanese sewing thread, but you can use any kind of thread you have around the house. So you want to make a knot, And you can either start from the front or the back, whatever you decide to do. And I'm going to just do I pinned this fabric on, but if you don't have pins, just sort of hold it on. Just remember one thing that I feel, and is part of the spirit of Boro, is there are no mistakes. So, just be fearless. Don't worry about doing a straight stitch. Don't worry about, if it goes crooked, the spacing, whatever, right? There are no mistakes. There's beauty in everything. And in this case, there's a lot of beauty in just the spontaneity and the fun that you can have with finding some fabrics and just sewing them on something. You could also not even have it be clothing related. I could cut these up into whatever sizes, start sewing them together, and make something out of it, a decorative piece or something that may be functional, just sewing things together. So that's Boro.
Is that a running stitch that you're doing?
Exactly. This is a running stitch. It's a very simple utilitarian stitch, just in and out, going along. And when I get to the corner, I'm going to make a turn. Oops, unthreaded my needle. Well, what I'm going to do is make a turn and go all the way around, and then, as I've done in other places, I'm going to start, maybe going around and seeing where it takes me. Let's see where it takes us. If anybody's interested in trying their hand at creative mending at Boro, I'd be happy to give you a little kit of some patches of fabric. I have plenty, so just let us know and have fun.